So before I start this, I just want to say that this is not the beginning of the new series I wanted to do that I talked about earlier in the last video. I figured I'd leave that debut for next week and make a good old speculation video instead, since the faction rallies are coming up. So hello everyone, it's Mr. Punquist from Heavy and Moonbound, and today I want to talk a little bit about the exotic catalysts that are going to be available during next week in the first Season 3 faction rally. Now with the new changes to faction rallies, you are only allowed to choose one faction to pledge through during the entire faction rally. That's account-wide now. This will put a huge strain on obtaining the catalyst, and it really made me rethink who I was choosing to support this go-around. Now obviously everyone will most likely get all three, since there will be 3 faction rallies, and I'm guessing most people aren't going to choose the same faction 3 times. But I'm here to answer the question on which one you may want to look at picking up first. And obviously, side note, if you're personally fond of a specific catalyst, then disregard this entire video. But anyway, let's get started. So first, let's look at the gun that keeps on gunning, the hallmark of victory, the only heavy machine gun in Destiny 2, the Sweet Business. So the catalyst from this weapon drops from the best faction in the game, and once earned, it grants the Sweet Business a serious business perk. And the description of this perk is that once the weapon has been fully spun up, the flinch from incoming damage is greatly reduced. Now this seems like a pretty radical perk, mostly for PvE. I can't really see it being that good for PvP, and specifically in PvE, I'm talking about raids here, this seems like it'd be a pretty good weapon. So assuming this all works out how I think it will, putting this beast with a Lunafaction Warlock will make you a DPS monster. However, in other DPS sections, I feel like this may get overshadowed by just the normal heavies that we've been using already, the Darcy, the Sleeper, or maybe the Polaris Lance, since they can probably dish out way more DPS over time as opposed to just in one small burst. But I guess we'll see when people start actually testing it when it comes out in the game next week. And for PvP, I don't see this thing really being that good. I feel like you can never spin it up fully in PvP without getting gunned by the Vigilance Wing or the Graviton Lance. So, but again, I don't know. I haven't used it in a while in PvP, probably since like the beta. So I guess we'll find out. Next, we're moving on to the heat sensation that's sweeping the nation, the most elusive weapon in the game if you're Shives, the gun that is literally powered by the Sunshot. So this catalyst is obtained by pledging to Future Work Alt, and it gives your Sunshot a spicy little upgrade. The catalyst adds 20 plus stability and 30 plus range. This one you can kind of get a little taste of now, not really, but kinda if you look at the Darcy, who also gets a 20 plus stability increase with their Masterwork, and you can see this is a significant upgrade. And along with the range buff, you can see on the Crimson, which makes this a cross-map laser beam. So everything's looking pretty good for the Sunshot. It feels like this thing is going to be a beast in PvP, but I've actually heard people say it's going to be really good in PvE also, because of the explosive shot that happens after you kill enemies. Again, we'll have to find out when we test it, but this just seems like a really sturdy hand cannon. It almost sounds like a Destiny 1 hand cannon to me, with its range buff and stability buff. And finally, let's look at the Terror of the Crucible, the Void Pulse that strikes fear into even the bravest of opponents, the Graviton Lance. So the catalyst from this weapon is a drop from Dead Orbit, and I forgot to mention this earlier, but we don't exactly know how these things dropped and how they're earned. There have been leaks that say you have to get to rank 50 with the faction, but then again you could get it as soon as you side with the faction. We don't know yet, we'll find out. But in either way, we know the general area to get it, so this is just for helpful knowledge for people. So this Masterwork upgrade gives the Lance 20 plus range and 15 plus aim assist, with the secret perk Hidden Hand. And this honestly sounds pretty terrifying. So not only will a range buff turn this thing into a sniper, but the better aim assist might negate a big problem people have with the weapon, which is the fact that if you don't get your crit shots, you're basically gonna get gunned. So this sounds like it negates one of the biggest problems with the weapon, making it even scarier than it already was in PvP. So it sounds like it's going to be a pretty scary time in the Crucible for anyone who doesn't choose Dead Orbit. But again, this is all speculation, so I guess we'll find out when the weapon's released next week. So, which one do you choose? Well, the way I see it personally, the Sweet Business is the one you should hold off on until at least the last faction rally, unless you really like the Sweet Business or you're repping New Monarchy no matter what. I don't feel like the flinchlessness is worth it for the grind, at least where the other two are still up for grabs. I feel like those are two insanely better perks and upgrades for the weapons that are given. And while the DPS would be amazing, I still feel like things like Polaris Lance and even the usuals would totally just ruin any chance of it being used, especially because it takes up an exotic slot. It might end up being a niche weapon, but I guess we don't know. Finally, for the last two, I'd honestly put it up to a tie, just based on personal preference. Both sound amazing in PvE and PvP, mostly PvP for the Graviton, but still. And as a person fond of pulses, I honestly just can't pass up the Graviton, so I guess I'm going Dead Orbit this month. However, if you're a straight shooter and just enjoy hand cannons, or just love the Sunshot in general, then I definitely say pick that one up. It sounds like it's going to be an absolute beast now. And just as a last little warning, this is all opinion, so if you feel like I was completely wrong, you're probably right, because I'm almost always wrong in these sort of videos for speculation. Remember the mod video? But anyways, I guess my prophecies will be foretold or completely off next week for the faction rallies. Hope you guys are excited. People can actually get some real tests in. I'll be waiting for videos. Maybe I'll do one actually. I don't know yet. But anyways, This is Mr. Punquist from Every Unbound, signing out. I will see you guys next time.